Hello, everybody. This is Eddie Laporte. I'm the Executive Director of the New Jersey Office of Faith-Based Initiatives. And today is our OFBI FY24 Q&A webinar for special projects. Please hold all questions to the end. If you do have a question, write it in the Q&A icon in your Zoom bar. And at the end, I'll read all the questions and I will answer them. All right, so let's begin. Oh, this webinar is going to be recorded as well, and it'll be placed on our website by close of business today. All right. Oops. So today we'll be reviewing the grant guidelines and how to access the applications on Sage. To download the application and supporting documents, you can write down this long URL, or you can simply do what I do, and I just Google the New Jersey Office of Faith-Based Initiatives, and it'll bring it up. And then when you get to the home page, you scroll down to Spotlight and you click Grant Opportunities. But we're going to go live and check that out. Now, the SAGE is an acronym for System Administering Grants Electronically, and that's where you will be completing the online application. The SAGE website is www.sage.nj.gov. That's www.sage.nj.gov. When you're using SAGE, use Microsoft Edge, Safari. That's a typo. There should be an I after Safari, and Firefox. Do not use Google Chrome. And whomever else in your organization is going to be working on the application, make sure that they do not use Google Chrome, as Google Chrome does not interface at all with Sage. So if you access Sage with Google Chrome and it looks like you're inputting information and it looks like you're saving documents, and then you hit submit, we'll never get it. We'll never get it. And so you're going to be panicking. So don't use Google Chrome at any process of accessing Sage. Right. Remember to always hit the save button in Sage. Sage doesn't have an automatic save feature. So when in doubt, hit save. Any questions you might have, you can call 609-984-6952 or email us at ofbi@sos.nj.gov. I'm also going to put my cell phone in the chat. You can text me or you can call me. I'm real responsive with texting. Just say, hey, I was in this webinar, I have a couple of questions, and I'll reply to your text. Or I'll call you, whichever one works best. So now we're gonna go live. When you access Sage, make sure that you have the grant guidelines along with by your sides, because you're gonna need it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the OFBI homepage. All right. So when you Google New Jersey Office of Faith-Based Initiatives, you're going to come to our homepage, right? It'll say OFBI, and you'll scroll down, and it'll be our speaker series of webinars that we've done in the past. And then if you scroll down, you'll see three boxes. You'll see resources on your right-hand side. So if you click Instant Connect, you'll be asked to register your information, and then you'll be added to our constant contact email distribution, where you will get information on funding and other resource opportunities. If you look at trending at OFBI, you'll see our Café con Leche panel series, which is panels that we've done with we've done with FEMA, federal funders, and women empowerment, and in the Court and Review. But if you go all the way to the left, you'll see Spotlights. When you get to Spotlight, to get to our grant page, click Grant Opportunities. So when you get to Grant Opportunities, what you'll see that our OFBI 2024 funding opportunities. The application is due April 20th, 2023. You'll see on the right-hand side, there's a navigation bar, which is similar to the navigation bar on the top. Under grant guidelines, you'll see the links to all the grant guidelines. Today, we'll be talking about special projects. Yesterday we did social innovation, and on Monday we did Project Atlas. On Friday we're going to do SEED, and on next Monday we'll do the New Jersey Freedom School. This is the schedule of our upcoming and past webinars this week. Like I said, Monday was Project Atlas, Tuesday was social innovation, today is special projects, Friday is SEED, and Monday is Freedom School. This webinar here, Introduction to Logic Model, let me make a point here. A lot of applications were straight out denied by our peer reviewers because many applicants did not upload the logic model that needs to be uploaded with the application. And this webinar is an introduction on how to complete our logic model. We don't want you to upload some spider logic model or some web logic model. We want you to upload our logic model, and we want you to upload it in the way that we ask you to upload it based on this webinar called Introduction to Logic Model. Now, it is February 8th. The application is not due until April 20th. So you've got a lot of time. Now, I come from the nonprofit world, and when there's a distant date like April 20th, I know, I remember, I was there. I think I've got a lot of time. April 20th will be here before you know it. And what's going to happen on April 19th, you're going to start watching this logic model, and you're going to panic because nothing is working on your computer. So I suggest you not wait to April 19th or the week of April 20th to submit the application, or at least start working on it. If you scroll further down, you'll see the board resolution, which you need to complete. It's a fillable PDF. You save it, you download it, and you fill it out, and you upload it. And then you'll see the logic model, right? I'm not going to go through it because we have a webinar that explains it, but this is key. Because I'll refer to this when I actually go through the application itself and explain how this aligns with the application. And then if you go further down, you'll see congressional legislative district. In the application process, you're going to be asked to input your congressional district and legislative district. And it's, historically, a lot of folks don't know how to get the information, so we made it easy for you, and we put this information here. So when you click on congressional district, you just go down, find your municipality or your county, and insert the correct congressional district. For legislative districts, you click the legislative district link, scroll down, and find where, find your county and see if your municipality is under District 6 or District 7. For example, Burlington is under 3 districts. It's under 4 districts, as a matter of fact. So just don't pick District 6. You need to look at District 6, see if your municipality is identified there. If it's not, go to District 7, go to District 8, go to District 9, and wherever your municipality is under whatever district your municipality is under, then that's the district that you use for your legislative district. Okay. Let me go to our webinar page, right? Because this is important as well. So if you scroll up to the top, you'll see on the navigation bar, there's webinars. And on the navigation bar to the right, there's the webinar. So you click webinars. If you're new to SAGE, and if you're new to applying to the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives and you never applied for funding through the Department of State, then you need to register in Blue Sage. So you need to watch this webinar here that's titled First Time Applying for a Grant in Blue Sage. It's a 5-minute webinar. It's February 8th. It takes about 5 days to get authorized because there's only one person in the Department of State that gives you authorization to access SAGE after you register. So if you do it today and you don't get it for like 6 days, you're fine, right? It's still in February, you're good. But some of you are going to wait until April 19th. And I'm telling you, it takes 5 days to at least to get the authorization. So if you're not registered at least a week prior to the due date, it's going to be really tight to get you authorized to gain access to Sage. And then when you do get access to Sage, you're going to forget about everything I'm talking about in this webinar. And you're going to also forget that the webinar is on our it's going to be on our website. And you're going to try to take our time hostage. And we can't, all we're going to do is refer you back to this webinar. And then you're going to have to take the time to listen to it. So I suggest that if you haven't registered for Sage, at least through the Department of State, that you take the time. It's a 5-minute webinar, watch the webinar, follow the steps, register, and then you'll get authorization in time, right? The next webinar that you need to watch after you register is Step 1 organizational information. So for any nonprofit to get a grant from any state agency, regardless of the dollar amount, there are 5 things you need to upload into Sage. Your charity's registration number and proof that that number is valid, your 501c3 your charity registration number and proof that that number is valid, your division of revenue number and the certificate, the business revenue certificate that proves that that number is valid, your 501c3 determination letter, your certificate of incorporation, not your articles of incorporation, but your certificate of incorporation, and your certificate of standing. Here's a tip. It doesn't make any sense, and I finally came to this realization, for you to spend money on these documents, especially for the certificate of incorporation and the certificate of standing, if you're not sure if you're going to get funded for a grant. If you're not sure if you have a certificate, if you're not sure that you have a charity's registration number, let me give you another tip. If your agency-wide budget, not your program budget, your agency-wide budget is under $10,000, that means $9,999.99. If it's that number and below, you don't have to register for a charity registration number. But what you will have to do is upload your 990EZ in the where the webinar is asking you to upload proof of your charity registration number. If your agency budget is under $10,000, what we'll need for you to do is upload your most current 990EZ that's been filed, not the index card that everybody's uploading to us, the 990EZ, right? So if you don't have your certificate of incorporation, if you don't have your certificate of standing, and if you don't have any of the documents that are asked of you in this webinar, what I suggest you can do is you can put placeholder numbers, like where you're asked to put a number, you could put all zeros, and where you're asked to upload a document, you can say this. You can upload a Word document that states something like this. If we're awarded a grant, we understand that we must upload the required documents before we can enter into contracting. That's it, plain and simple. And then you're done with that, with those uploads, and then you can continue to move forward with your application. So that's, I think that's pretty good. All right, so now what we're gonna do is I am going to quickly go through the special projects application, right? You can apply, so if you're applying for special projects, you can apply for one category on the special projects, and you can also apply for one category also under social innovation. And if you have the internal bandwidth within your organization, you can apply for a seed grant as well. But my focus today is just special projects. The seed webinar is on Friday. The application due is April 20th. The eligibility criteria, this talks about those 5 documents that I mentioned previously. We do not fund houses of worship, colleges, universities, public schools, charter schools, or private schools. Civic engagement, the maximum request is 10, tutoring and homework assistant. The maximum is that you can request is 10. Food security, the maximum that you can request is 20. And for services to seniors, the maximum that you can request is 15. So civic and community engagement really focuses on, preparing individuals to advocate for themselves as a community on issues that are important to them, right? You can, and so civic and community engagement is not only about, it includes our civic responsibility to vote, but it also includes our civic responsibility to make changes within our community and or educate our community on issues that are happening that are affecting the particular community. Part of civic and community engagement is community organizing. And so if you want to submit a civic and community engagement application focused on community organizing, you can do that, but you need to be able to indicate to us or to the peer reviewer, what are you organizing around and what's the benefit of that community organizing, okay? Tutoring and homework assistance is, providing tutoring and homework assistance to middle school, grammar school, high school, and if you've got the bandwidth, college students. Food security is food security. It is about an opportunity to provide, to reduce food insecurity in your local geographic location. We'd like for an organization to, at minimum, provide food drop-off and or client pickup at a minimum of 4 times a week, right? So food security is, this particular grant is really set up for organizations that have a food security program in place. Not that you're all of a sudden gonna do this because your small radius of 5 blocks is in need of food. There's probably other food opportunities in the local area. And so we're looking for organizations that have existing food security programs in place and that our funding will be used to supplement what they're currently doing, all right? Services to seniors is exactly that. It's designed to provide activities and services that promote aging in place. The age range is from 55 to 100 because I needed to put an age because everybody kept asking me, what's the age range? The goal is to prevent, maintain, or improve the physical, psychological, and social well-being of older individuals by providing appropriate senior services. If you have an approach, and you should state this in your application, that you measure for depression and anxiety, and that your approach in providing senior services can reduce depression or anxiety, and then you should indicate that in your application. You should definitely indicate that in your application, because this is about providing socialization opportunities for senior citizens, and assuring that if they can't get out of the house, that you're doing stuff that promotes some type of adult communication, spending time with them in order for them to feel like they are not isolating and being forgotten. That's kind of like the sense of what the services to seniors is all about, all right? So if you scroll down, the application requirements, and this is it. Now, this is, now when we say, when you access SAGE, you need to have the guidelines right next to you, and or if you have double monitors, you have to have the guidelines up on a monitor, because SAGE is not going to ask you these questions right here, these bullets, and your application is going to be rated on how well you answer those bullets. So under the project summary, indicate the title of the project, indicate the amount that you will be applying for and the purpose of the program, assure that all clients receiving services are low income, and explain how you will verify their low income status. For organizational capacity, provide a brief history of the organization. If the organization's been around since the landing of the Mayflower, we don't need to go that far back, right? It's just, what have you been doing? What's the history? How many years have you been providing services? What are the types of services that you've been providing? How experienced are you in providing this particular service? And also indicate the total number of program participants along with the impact the program has delivered at, let's say in the last year or two. I don't need to, not me, but the peer reviewers don't need to know what you did 20 years ago. It's beautiful that you've been around for 20 years, but we really need to know what have you been doing the last, 1, 2, or maybe 3 years. What's the impact that you've had? Statement of need. Indicate which surveys, needs assessments were used to inform the organization that the program that it's applying for is an approach the community wants addressed. This is where a lot of organizations lost points last year in their application because they didn't prove that the program that you're applying for, or they didn't indicate that the program that they were applying for was a need that the targeted population once addressed. And there was no indication that the program was one of high priority for the targeted population. So you need to be able to indicate that in the statement of need, statement of collaboration. Describe who are the 3 collaborating partners and how will that partnership impact the organization's ability to implement the proposed project. Now, during COVID, we suspended the practice of uploading actual letters of support because, it was challenging. Now that we're on the other side of that monster, and everything seems to be going back to normal. People are meeting up, and it's a lot of in person. And there are some organizations that have always been in person, even through COVID, and there are some organizations that are beginning to get back to the normal practice of conducting day-to-day business prior to COVID. And so now we're going to ask you, not only are you going to have 3 collaborating partners and tell us who they are and indicate to us the role that they'll have in supporting you in the project that you're implementing. Now, that can mean a number of different things. For example, if you're providing this service X, and Eddie, the agency who's partnering with you, it says, hey, what we can do is we can help your organization with mental health services, counseling, and other ancillary services that you don't provide. Then that's the type of partnership that we're looking for. It's a partnership or collaboration partnership, whichever word you want to use, that you will refer your clients, or they will refer clients to you based on the services that you provide that they don't provide, or you will refer clients to them based on the services that they provide that you don't provide, right? Or it's a collaboration where an organization or a house of worship is allowing you to use their space pro bono. That's a collaborative partnership as well. And then we're going to ask you to upload 3 letters of collaboration, and I'm going to show you how that works. The project design, provide a detailed description of the project, who, what, where, when, and why, right? It's really the model of your approach, right? What if you're doing services to seniors, what assessments do you use to measure a person's depressive state or anxiety state or stress state? What is it that they do when they come in to receive food? Is it that they just show up and you just haphazardly give out food to people? Is it that you're just putting a Band-Aid on the social issue, or are you trying to help them not depend on you for food anymore, right? Is it that if you're doing tutoring and homework assistance, like what's that model? Is it every day, 3 days a week? Is it online and you should be going in person? How are you going to prove that, like what does homework and tutoring mean to you? Is it just a bunch of kids in a cafeteria eating snacks and laughing and giggling? Or is it a bunch of kids in a space, put by grades, and they're actually working on their homework assignments, and you have somebody, a high school student or an adult there that's going to help them understand the concepts that are being asked of them so that they can better understand their work? Like, what is that model of your program, right? For civic and community engagement, what exactly are you doing? Are you trying to have community focus groups to better identify how to organize around a particular issue, and then strategize on how to move collectively to address that issue? And does that mean you're going to meet once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week? Are you going to have a schedule of calendar events? I mean, the reader should be able to say, okay, they get funded, this is what they're going to do. And I kind of understand what they're trying to do. A lot of people lost points on the project design because they didn't, I'm not going to say you didn't have the wherewithal, but I'm not sure if you understand, not you, I'm talking you in general, if whoever wrote the grant really understood the model of your program. Because a lot of times it felt like they had no clue what the model was, and they were just copy and pasting from other grants, and sometimes it read disjointed. And so you may want to, handle that a little better. Target population, of course, describe the population that the organization plans to provide, gender, income, educational status, age, that sort of stuff. Goals and objectives. Now, in your logic model, there are what's called, there's an activities column. And in your project design, you should indicate what the activities are for your project. And then in the logic model, those activities that are mentioned in your logic model should align with what you're saying on the project design. And that's what the peer reviewers are going to use to see if the logic model aligns with the application. Same thing with goals and objectives, right? Let me go back to this logic model for you. What the heck's it at? Right here. Let me just go back here because I really want you guys to get this right, because a lot of folks didn't get this right. So under the activities column, what you put in program design should be, in the activities should be stated here. Your outputs are your goals, right? Your outputs are your goals, and your outcomes are your objectives, and your impact is what you're going to use to evaluate the effectiveness of your program. And the resources column is all the resources that you need so that you can implement the activities. And if you implement the activities, you'll be able to reach certain goals. And if you're able to reach certain goals, there'll be certain objectives that you'll need to meet. And if you meet those objectives, there'll be an impact on the participants in your program. If this logic model does not align with the application, and if it doesn't align with what's being asked under goals and objectives and evaluation and the budget, then you're going to lose a lot of points. You're going to lose a lot of points. And I don't want you to lose points. I want you to get the money so you can provide the needed services to a marginalized community, because demand is increasing. And I know, and I know we're about to move into a recession. People are going to start losing their jobs, and they're going to turn to the nonprofit organizations, just like the heroes that you were and are when COVID hit. So they're going to turn to you. And so I want to make sure that you get the money to do what you have to do. All right. The evaluation should indicate, how you will measure and whether to what extent the program success has been achieved, and upload the logic model. Now, the impact column of the logic model, you should be able to copy and paste and tweak that from the logic model and put it in this section, plain and simple. What we don't want you to do is take some textbooks that you had when you were an undergrad 50 years ago and try to copy and paste language that didn't make sense then, and it doesn't make sense now. The simpler it's said, the better it's understood. Now, the budget. When you have to complete all the budgets in Sage, on Sage, and I'm going to show you what that is, right? And then these are suggested categories. $2,000 of grant funds can be used for purchase of technology, up to. You don't want to use it, you don't have to. $1,500 of the grant can be used for administrative costs. Admin costs or costs that are not yet realized for the program that you're applying for. You can use $1,000 of grant funds for staff development. Now, I used to work for nonprofits back in the day, early in my career, and I don't know how it is now, but I didn't get paid then. I didn't get paid well back then. But I had the good fortune of being led by real good leaders that valued my professional development. And even though I didn't get a good salary, they made sure that they had the resources to send me to workshops and conferences. And then I was able to then take those concepts and theories and best practices, and I was allowed to implement those concepts and theories and best practices for the programs that I oversaw. And they allowed me to develop my leadership that way. And so I've always allowed organizations that get a grant from us to put money to the side for staff development. And I know it's a pain. I do it with my staff. And when you send them away, work doesn't happen, but they'll be much better for it when they come back. I'm telling you 100%. And or you can use the total award up to 85% of the grant towards personnel, right? And then under appendices, you need to upload the logic model. And under required appendices, you need to upload your board resolution, and you need to upload your IRS form 990EZ. It should say EZ there, so that we can make sure that if you don't have a charity's registration number, we can look at that 990EZ that you're going to upload, and we can say, okay, yeah, they're under $10,000, so they don't have to register for a charity's registration number. Okay. Where am I going to next? I know that I was going to go somewhere. Hold on. So is it here? Hold on for a second. I'm looking for where, oh, here we go. Okay, so now let me get this. Let me get rid of 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 this. So now we're going to access Sage. So once you register in Sage, if you're a first-time user, that's fine. You'll get access to Sage. You're going to get an email from somebody from the Department of State through Sage. It's going to say, hey, you now have authorization to Sage. For those that, if anybody forgets their username and password, what you want to do is, get onto Sage, www.sage.nj.gov. And if you forgot your let's say you forgot your password. You click on forgot username, password. Then to get a new password, you're going to have to enter your username. And then the email that you need to enter is the email that you registered for when you registered in Sage. Because if you put a different email in there, you're never going to get the email that allows you to reset your password. Okay? All right, so when you put the email here that you registered in Sage, you click reset my password and my email. And what's going to happen is you're going to get a randomized email of letters and numbers. Now, what most people try to do is they try to copy and paste that number and insert it in password. And what's going to happen is Sage is not going to recognize that temporary password. You're going to have to insert each character individually and then click login. When you log in, Sage then takes you to a different page and says, now create your new password, and then it logs you in. So let's say everything is good. You got your username, you got your password, you click login. Now, this is our test site, and this is it looks just like the real live site that you're going to work under, but it's the site that we use to test applications, reports, make changes, things of that nature. So when you get into Sage, you're going to see My Task. Now, your My Task is not going to look busy like this because you're not going to have anything in there, right? So when you first get into the application, into Sage, you'll scroll down to the bottom, and where it says view available opportunities, you're going to click view opportunities. And then under provider, you're going to open up the drop-down box, and you're going to click NJ_Sage_DOS. And on the document instance, you're going to put special projects, right? And then you're going to click filter. And then, because this is a test site, we see past applications. So what's going to happen is that when you click filter, you're going to see OFBI Special Projects 2024 for the name of your organization. You go down to the bottom and you click Apply Now. And then you're going to get to the agreement page. The first link here about this is the general funding guidelines for the entire Department of State. And this link here that says application guidelines, it'll take you back. In the past, it showed you the specific application that you're applying for, but it was challenging because if changes were made to the application in real time, it took like a few weeks to get it uploaded here. So now what I've done is I've asked, this link takes you back to our grant page where you can download the most current application, okay? So you click I agree. And Sage takes a few minutes. Sometimes, it just, all right, so now you're on the application page, right? And the first thing we want you to do, this is the first thing we want you to do, is go to Forms menu and hover over Forms menu and click Profile Information. Now, for you new users, this may look like, oh my God, but it's not. It's really not. It's going to be, oh my God, on April 19th. I could tell you that much. It's going to be, you're going to walk away from the computer. All right, so don't worry about this because this doesn't show up. This is a test site. So when you get to the profile information page, all of this here will probably be blank. The charity number and the division of revenue number will be blank. Don't panic. Everything here will be blank. And what we ask you to do is you're going to have to fill out these 4 boxes, right? So I think I've been doing Star Trek lately. So I'm a Star Trek fan. So this is Captain Kirk, right? This is Jim Kirk. Ooh, and he's a captain, right? And then you scroll down to the bottom and you click this checkoff box down here that says, by checking this box, you confirm that all information shown above is accurate to the best of your knowledge. You come up to the top and you click Save. And then what's happening is that second webinar that I mentioned in the beginning of this webinar, step 1, additional organizational contact information. What this is doing is migrating all that information that you put on that page in Sage onto this page. Usually what happens is that when you click Save for the first time, there's going to be an error message here that says, some information hasn't been transferred over. And on March, it's February 8th. On March 10th, you're not panicking because you got a little more than a month. So you're going to go back and listen to this webinar, and you're going to get to this part where Eddie says, oh, if that happens, click Save again. Because sometimes it takes an additional save to complete the migration of the information from that page to this page. But on April 19th, you're not going to remember your name. And so how are you going to remember this? And so try not to wait until the last minute to do this. All right, so now you'll see this green light that says everything is good to go. And you can do one or two things. You can hover over Forms menu and fill out these in any order you want, or you can click Next. So let's click Next. It'll take you to the next page in the order of the Forms menu. And so now you're at the, wait, no, my bad. After you do the profile information, no, that's right, this is right. So you do the project title, which is, I don't know, I'm just going to do test. And the grant category, you drop it down and, there's one missing. Okay, I gotta fix because homework and tutorials should be added to this. All right. And then you click Save. Oh, no, no, no. Homework and tutorial has been removed. I got to update the grant guidelines. That's right. So you'll do that, and then you hover over forms menu, and then you go to organization contact information. And then when you come to organization contact information, you're going to have to fill out anything with an asterisk you need to fill out, right? So I'm going to go here to, I'm going to go to Ms. Nyota Ahura. I think I got that first name wrong. Organization name is Starfleet. Address is, you know, they started in like in the Midwest when they launched those ships out into space. So we're just going to use Trenton, blah, blah, blah. Enter your phone number, the state, the zip code, the email. If you have a website, that'll be good. The program director would be Mr. Spock, because I don't know his, oh, I know Leonard Nimoy, but I don't know him. All right, and then it's, you know, the address, the city, the state, the telephone number, the email. And then the next one would be Chekhov. Right, that's that young one, the pilot, and he's a pilot. And then you enter your telephone number, and then you enter the email. Oops. And then you enter the institutional budget, whatever the agency's budget is. So I'm going to put $100,000 down. And you come up to the top and you click save. All right. And then you hover over forms menu and you go to project summary. And then under project summary, Sage is not going to ask you what questions to answer. So that's why we say that you need to have the grant guidelines next to you. So for training purposes, I'm just going to put test under project summary, because Sage, I already went by that earlier today, and it tells you what you need to do. And then you hover over forms menu and you click organization capacity. And then under organization capacity, you need to read what the grant guidelines say that you need to put in here. You put it in there and you click save, or you can click save next. By clicking save next, it saves it and it takes you to the next page in order. All right, and so now we're on a statement of need. You need to have the grant guidelines next to you so you can understand what you're answering. You insert that information in the text box, you go up to the top and you click save next, or you can click save and then hover over forms menu and go into whichever order of the forms you want to go into. All right. Then this is the statement of collaboration. So you need 3 statements of collaboration. So we're going to put org 1 here, and then you're going to summarize what that letter says that they're going to do, and you're going to copy and paste it and put it in here, and then you're going to click save. All right, and then to add the next organization, you need to come up to the top, click the add button. What that does, it wipes out this page, and then you'll put the name of the second organization and summarize what that letter of support means, and then come up to the top and click save. And then for the third one, you come up to the top, click add. And come to the bottom, put the name of the third organization, summarize that support letter, put it in a text box and click save. And so you'll have the three statement of collaboration. And then if you hit this drop-down box, you'll see that all three are in there. Then you go to the forms menu and you come down to project description. All right, so project design, I talked about that earlier. You fill that out. This has to align. The project design should include the activities that you've identified in your logic model should be here. So the project design needs to align with the logic model. The target population, you put that information in here as well. The project goals should align with your logic models, right? And the evaluation, the impact column should also align with the logic model. You insert that in there and then you click save. The logic model was big, folks. It was huge. It was a killer for a lot of organizations. All right, so you hover over forms menu, you scroll down. Now we're going to go into the budget. The budget is kind of easy. It's not like, well, it's easy. It's an easy process. So anyone that's, you can either use some of our funding to pay the fringe, or you can use fringe from another funding source. But if you're going to use, if you have people that, some people use fringe and some people don't use fringe, you're going to have to do one page with the people that receive fringe and one page with the people that don't receive fringe. And I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm just putting the number 1 here, right? And so it'll say program. If you have 2 program coordinators position, they have to be unique, meaning that Sage needs to be able to identify which program coordinator is which. So you would put program coordinator 1, and then you would put in Luke Skywalker, right? His annual salary is $30,000. He works about 35 hours a week. Weekly hours on this particular project, let's say it's 7 hours. And let's say you're going to charge Luke Skywalker out of this grant $5,000. Let's just say. And then for the program coordinator 2, it's the Mandalorian, right? Y'all can tell I love and let's say he makes about, I don't know, $25,000 a year. And let's say he works 35 hours a week, and he's gonna work 6 hours on this job, and you're gonna charge this grant $4,500. Then you simply go up to the top and click save. And Sage does its Sage dance, right? Oops, yeah. And you're gonna see, there's a negative here. What does that mean? The negative simply means that you are not paying the Mandalorian, you're not charging the grant enough to support the cost of the hours that the Mandalorian is working on based on his salary and the hourly and the hours that he works per week. So you can do one or two things. You can increase the hours, or you can reduce this, right? So sometimes you got to play around with it. So let's say you're going down to 5 hours. Let's just say, and you come up to the top and you click save, because you don't want to move forward with a negative, because it's just going to throw everything off moving forward. For those that join late, this webinar is it's being recorded and it will be uploaded on our website. All right, so it's not the hours, right? It's the dollar amount. So let's go back to 6 and let's say, all right, well, maybe I have to pay him or her a little more, or I gotta lower the dollar amount and pay them less. But this is where you need to play with Sage and your numbers a little bit. Let's see if this works. Nope. Let me see if I have to go up. hopefully this works. So if it, let me see, because it's saying that you're going to get, oh, no. I got to go down to 4286. That's what it means. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, I got to go down to 4286. 4286. Let's see if that fixes it. See how it says total funds needed 4286. So let's see if that was the reason why there was a negative, because maybe I was paying him too much based on the hours that he's going to be working on the grant and his hourly and his salary weight and what he makes per year. Let's see if that works. Perfect. Okay. So Sage will calculate all that out. And so, you already spent $9,936 of your grant, right? Remember, if you're getting a grant for 10,000, you can only spend up to 85% of the grant. So that's probably a little over the top, right? And so let's say you're going to now add folks that don't have a fringe, let's say, that you're not going to pay fringe for. So you come down to the top, to the bottom, you leave the fringe columns blank. You'll write program coordinator 3, and then Leia Skywalker, right? Annual salary is $35,000. Weekly standard on this job is 35. She's going to work about 5 hours, and you're going to charge at $5,000. You go up to the top, you click save. Sage does its little Sage dance and starts calculating all this stuff. And then, all right, so then you have the 9,000 from the previous plus another 5,000 here, makes it 14,936. So if you're writing a grant for 20,000, you got about 5,200 to play with, right? And so you hover over forms menu, you go to consultants, and let's say you want to pay somebody a stipend, I don't know, a high school student or something, you know, you write the description of consultant services to be provided, youth volunteer, youth worker, works, I don't know, 10 hours a week, I don't know, a week, and you're going to pay a stipend of, I don't know, $50, let's say. $50. You're going to put $500 here for cost estimate, and then you're going to charge the grant $500. You come down to the bottom, you go up to the top, you click save. We're almost done, folks. We're almost done. It's about 7 minutes. Then I'll answer all the questions. And why isn't it 500, your information? Oh, do consultant services demonstrate a true employer, non-employer relationship as per IRS regulations? Yes, because this youth worker is not an employee of the organization, and an organization can't pay an employee as a consultant. So you go up to the top and you click save. All right. Then you hover over forms menu. That's taken all that stuff. So what's that? Then you come down to other course categories. And you come down, and this is where you put in, I don't know, let's say other staff development, workshops, and conferences, CONFERENCES. Let's say it's $500. You're going to charge the grant $500. And then let's go to meals. Let's say you want to provide some meals, right? Snacks. snacks for program participants, snacks or meals, right? Snacks and or meals. Snacks for program participants. Let's say that's another $500, and you're gonna, what it costs is $500, and what you're gonna charge a grant is another $500. And let's say equipment. Let's say you want to buy some laptops, right? So you want to buy 2 laptops at $400 each. That's $800. You put $800 there, and then you put $800 there. And then let's say you want to consumable supply, that's office supply. So you just put office supplies here, and then you put, I don't know, $250 here. I'm probably over the dollar amount. And then let's say you want to do other, let's say it's admin cost, and let's say it's program costs not yet realized. And let's say it's, I'm probably over by now, $1,500, because you're gonna need that because you haven't really thought. But if you did a good logic model, all your activities should be identified. You should be good with that, right? And then let's go and do one more, and let's do travel. Let's say you guys gotta, transport some people, or you want to use Uber or Lyft transportation to get people back and forth to their doctor's appointment, medical appointments, and let's say that's going to be $500. I don't know. And then you come up to the top and you click save. I just did random stuff, folks, but this is how you need to think it through. And your logic model, under resources, everything in your budget should be identified under the resource column of your logic model. All right, so that comes out to $4,050. Then you go hover over forms menu, scroll down, go to overall budget. And when you get to the overall budget, the only thing you need to do when you get to the overall budget is click save. Once I get there. All right, so now you're at the overall budget. You have to come up to the top and you click save. By clicking save, it migrates all those numbers from all those other budget forms that I put numbers in onto this page. All right, so I guess the grant I was going for was 20,000. So I'm a little shy of what, $522 or something like that. So you can go back in and increase appropriate line items appropriately. But let's say you're good with 19,486. You come up to the top, you scroll down over forms menu, you go to required appendices. And then you upload your board resolution. I'm just gonna do a random upload. And then your IRS form 990 EZ. I gotta fix that. It should say EZ. You scroll down, you put the file 990 EZ in here. So the application is due April 20th. Your 990 EZ should be from 2022. If you don't have 2022, you could put up 2021. All right. You come up to the top, you click save. Look at that. 1 o'clock on the button. All right. So you're ready to submit. You think you've done everything right. You hover over forms menu. If there was an error, there would be a little yellow hand or an amber light that says, hey, you forgot to do something. But if everything, appendices. Let me go to appendices. Let me make sure that something is there. Oh, all right, this is where you upload the logic model. You see, look at that. So you come on the logic model and you upload the logic model, you click, and you click save. Now, how did I know that there was, oh, you want to put logic model in here too. You want to write the description logic model. How did I know that something was missing there? You see how every form has a pencil on it except for personnel and statement of collaboration? Except those two forms, if everything has a pencil going across it, that means that that page is complete and everything is okay. So now you're ready to submit. So you hover over status change, you go to application submitted, and you change and you apply the status, application submitted. You come to the agreement page. It says, are you sure you want to submit your application? And you'll say, yes, I agree. You click I agree. And then some folks are like, hey, I didn't get an email. So you access the application and you open the details box. And if you go to the right where it says current status, it'll say application submitted. Okay, so now I'm going to read and answer the questions. This is from Nancy. In food security category, it says to apply food drop-off or pickup must be provided minimum 4 times per week. Does this mean that our food pantry, which provides monthly grocery pickups, isn't eligible? We would like it to be 4 times a week, but you'll need to justify, Nancy, why you're only doing it once a month. And then remember, you're not convincing me, you're convincing the peer reviewers. And so, is it once a month because you're collaborating with other organizations that provide food and you do it once a month while everybody else does it once a month? And so that's 4 times a week. 4 times in a month to provide food services. So you're going to have to sit back and see if that makes sense for you, and how can you convince the peer reviewers that what you're providing once a month is of value to that targeted population. Anonymous, can you repeat what we can write if we don't have all the documents that are requested? Sure. You can upload and say something like, if we're awarded a grant, we will upload all necessary requirements before we can enter into contracting with the Office of Faith-Based Initiatives. Something like that. Like, hey, if we get funded, we know that we're not going to enter into contracting with you until we upload all the required documents. Something like that. Anonymous, what about neighborhood cleanup projects or housing rehab to provide affordable housing in the community? So our funding can't be used to actually rehab physical structures, but if bringing the neighborhood together consistently over a period of time to do neighborhood cleanups, and you can justify in your application that is a good community effort and that it teaches civic responsibility, then yes, you can do that. Tristan Madley, my bad. Can collaborators be a volunteer service organization such as Rotary? Yes. Kristen Madley, does the collaborator have to play a role of this proposed project? Not in the day-to-day implementation of it, no. Zamina Carrasco, our SAM is out of date. I don't know what that means. Our restore, com emails is on file. We cannot access. This email no longer is operating. Who do we talk to or send to our info restorekids.org email? We can upload. Listen, you need to call me. So, so my cell phone number, Zamina, is 732-289-1896, and or I'm gonna put it in the chat, or you can email me because this is something that I need to really think through. So this is my cell phone number, 289-1896, cell, and this is my email, edward.laporte@sos.nj.gov. So you can email me, and then I'll follow up with you and say, okay, what is exactly going on? Because I'm not sure what your question is trying to say. Rhonda Wagner, when completing the section on collaborators, will the Sage allow you to copy and paste information from those letters, or will you need to summarize that information by typing it in manually? Now, you can copy and paste. Like if they send you a Word document, you can copy and paste it and put it in there. You have 1,500 characters per text box, per collaborator. So you should be fine. Anonymous, can a startup nonprofit apply for this grant? If so, what can be uploaded if they don't have a 990 EZ as yet, since the organization started in 2023? Well, Anonymous, for an organization like yourself, we have what's called Project Atlas, which is a capacity building grant specifically designed to support organizations in your developmental stage, where you'll get a coach, you'll get all the training and technical assistance support that the organization needs to enhance its infrastructure and capacity. You'll have to develop a leadership team, and then you get a grant for $10,000 that allows you to prototype, that allows you to implement a pilot project, so you get used to working with a funder. Maybe that's the direction you need to go, as opposed to special projects. But if you'd like to have a conversation further, I put my information in the chat and we can set up a Zoom and we can talk about it further. Anonymous, can you apply for more than one category? For example, civil community engagement and food insecurity? No. So under special project, you can only apply for one category, but you can apply for social innovation, but only one category. But if you don't have the capacity and the organization is newly formed, then how are you going to prove that you have the historical experience to implement the project? I'm assuming that this is the same Anonymous. If it's not, then you can call me and we'll set up a meeting and we'll talk. I think I answered all the questions. Okay, everybody, this webinar has come to its conclusion. I want to thank everybody for coming on board. This webinar will be posted on our web